Ah. Oh my god.
That's money.
This shit feels so good. So this is what you do after a successful weekend at Rolling Loud. Hop off a jet straight to Icebox. Bitch. Yes, sir. Make it rain. We're making it rain, baby. Come on. Let's do it. What? Y'all thought I was finished? Let's go. Where the strippers at? Y'all bitches need to come out right now. Come to Icebox.
What happens when an 18-year-old with a triple platinum single walks into Atlanta's most elite jewelry store carrying a suitcase filled with $500,000 in physical cash? In 2019, Lil Pump didn't just visit Icebox, he turned the showroom into a personal playground, tossing stacks of money into the air like confetti while master jewelers looked on. At the time, it seemed like the ultimate Gucci gang victory lap, but in hindsight, this $500,000 spree may have been the beginning of a quiet financial freefall. In this video, we are diving deep into that viral moment to see exactly what $500,000 buys you at the world's most famous jewelry store. More importantly, we're following the money trail through the years of tax liens and declining record sales that followed. We'll examine whether this was a brilliant marketing move or the moment the Harvard dropout learned a very expensive lesson about longevity. Stick around until the end because we're revealing where that jewelry is today and how the IRS eventually had the final word.
Because, you know, before you know it, you have $1 million in jewelry, you gotta have proper storage for it, you know?
Came straight to Icebox from the strip club. From the jet to the strip club. I mean, from the fucking, I went from strip club to the jet, bitch. And from the jet to Icebox. And from Icebox, I'm going back to the strip club.
You going to the strip club after this?
Maybe.
You got another bag of money after this for the strip club?
So.
Okay.
The legend began on a humid afternoon in May 2019 when a private jet touched down in Atlanta carrying the 18-year-old face of the SoundCloud revolution. Fresh off the release of Harvard Dropout, Lil Pump didn't arrive with a security detail or a corporate entourage. Instead, he stepped onto the tarmac clutching simple paper bags and designer backpacks that were literally bursting at the seams with $500,000 in unbanded cash. This wasn't just a trip to the jeweler, it was a tactical strike on the senses. As he pulled up to the curb of Icebox in Buckhead, the energy shifted. Everyone from the valets to the floor staff knew that Top wasn't there to browse. He had bypassed the digital convenience of wire transfers for the raw, tactile power of physical currency. This bag-to-bling transition set the stage for one of the most chaotic displays of consumerism in rap history, proving that at the height of his fame, Pump believed his fortune was as bottomless as his energy. Once inside the gleaming showroom, the atmosphere shifted from a luxury transaction to a chaotic performance. Pump began the rain ceremony.
Where the strippers at? Y'all bitches need to come out right now. Come to Icebox. Let's do it. I need all the strippers to come here right now. Oh my god. This shit feels so good.
A moment that has since been etched into the archives of internet history. He didn't just place the money on the counter, he unleashed it. Stacks of $20 and $100 bills were tossed toward the ceiling, creating a blizzard of currency that carpeted the Icebox floor. "Eskeet it," he shouted, laughing as he practically waded through the paper wealth he had generated in just a few short years. The Icebox staff, usually accustomed to the buttoned-up professionalism of elite clients, could only watch and film as the teenage star treated $500,000 like play money. It was a visceral display of new money energy, a middle finger to traditional financial discipline. For Pump, the money wasn't something to be managed. It was a prop for his brand, a tool to validate his status as the king of the mumble rap era. If you missed the 2017 to 2019 era of rap chaos, hit that like button and subscribe to relive the wildest moments in hip-hop history. When the dust finally settled and the cash was counted, the focus shifted to the high-carat engineering that would consume that $500,000 mountain. Lil Pump wasn't looking for subtle investment pieces. He was hunting for the loudest, most recognizable symbols of the SoundCloud elite. The centerpiece of the haul was a massive custom pump pendant, encrusted with a mosaic of hand-set VVS diamonds that caught the light from every possible angle. He didn't stop there. He added a set of diamond-covered Cartier glasses, which alone cost more than most people's annual salaries, followed by several heavy Miami Cuban link bracelets to weigh down his wrists. Every piece was crafted from white gold and flooded with stones to create the water effect, a shimmering brilliance that makes the underlying metal disappear. For Pump, this wasn't just jewelry, it was a physical manifestation of his Harvard dropout persona. By the time he walked out of Icebox, he was wearing a house around his neck, seemingly unaware that the shine of his jewelry would soon be put to the ultimate financial test. The $500,000 Icebox spree was more than a purchase. It was a crash flex, a psychological phenomenon often seen in young stars who experience meteoric rises. Like a supernova that burns with blinding intensity right before it exhausts its fuel, Lil Pump's display of wealth was an attempt to cement a status that his career's longevity hadn't yet earned. Experts in behavioral finance often point to this behavior as a byproduct of poverty trauma, where the sudden acquisition of millions triggers a desperate need to convert invisible bank balances into tangible, undeniable social proof. For Pump, the diamonds acted as a physical shield against the looming threat of irrelevance. He wasn't just buying gold, he was buying the feeling of being untouchable. However, as the Gucci Gang hype began to cool, this $500,000 anchor around his neck became a symbol of a dangerous trend, prioritizing the look of success over the actual foundation of it. The euphoria of the Icebox reign didn't last as long as the diamonds promised. By 2021, the bill for that high-flying lifestyle finally came due, and it wasn't a jeweler knocking on the door, it was the federal government. Reports surfaced that the IRS had filed a massive tax lien against Lil Pump, alleging he owed a staggering $1.6 million in unpaid taxes dating back to 2018. While he had famously dismissed an earlier $90,000 debt as chump change that he wore on his wrist, this new seven-figure figure was impossible to ignore. The agency even moved to target his $5 million Miami mansion, a property he had purchased during the peak of his commercial success. This marked the first significant crack in the never-broke persona he had projected so loudly in Atlanta. It became a cautionary tale in real time. While you can walk into a store with $500,000 in cash, Uncle Sam expects his percentage of every dollar earned, and no amount of VVS clarity can blind the taxman to a missing payment. One of the most dangerous myths in hip-hop is the idea that jewelry is a solid store of value, a mobile savings account for a rainy day. However, as the 2026 market has proven, the reality of the resale market is a brutal wake-up call for artists like Lil Pump. When you walk out of a store like Icebox with a $100,000 custom piece, you aren't holding $100,000 in assets. You are holding a heavily marked up consumer good. In fact, most custom jewelry loses between 40% and 70% of its value the moment it hits the secondary market. This is because buyers only pay for the melt value of the gold and the wholesale price of the small pave diamonds, not the hours of labor or the celebrity hype attached to the brand. For someone like Pump, who dropped $500,000 in a single afternoon, the actual liquid value of those pieces in a crisis might only be $150,000. It is a depreciating asset masquerading as wealth, and for an artist with mounting bills, it's a financial trap disguised as a trophy. Do you think rapper jewelry is a waste of money? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and share this with someone who needs a reality check. The most brutal metric of Lil Pump's financial trajectory isn't found in a jewelry box, but on the Spotify and Billboard charts. In 2017, Gucci Gang was a global juggernaut, peaking at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and racking up over 1 billion streams. By the time of the $500,000 Icebox spree, Pump was still riding the momentum of Harvard Dropout, which debuted at number 7. However, the years that followed showed a sharp, painful decline in commercial relevance. Subsequent projects like Lil Pump 2 struggled to break the top 100, with first-week units dropping from nearly 50,000 to a mere fraction of that. In the streaming economy, your bank account is directly tethered to your monthly listeners. As his daily plays plummeted from millions to thousands, the passive income required to sustain a lifestyle of private jets and custom diamonds evaporated. He was essentially trying to run a Ferrari on a lawnmower's fuel supply, proving that a $500,000 flex only works if the music keeps playing. And for Pump, the silence was becoming expensive. The legend of the $500,000 Icebox spree now stands as the definitive tombstone for an era of rap that prioritized the flex over the foundation. Looking back from 2026, those glittering chains weren't just jewelry, they were the very anchors that pulled Lil Pump's financial ship underwater. Today, the Harvard dropout is less of a mogul and more of a ghost story. A stark reminder that a $500,000 reign today often leads to a lifetime of drought tomorrow. The tax liens and the quiet liquidation of his assets have proven J. Cole's 2018 prophecy correct. If you don't respect the money won't respect you. This isn't just about one rapper's downfall, it's a warning to every creator watching this right now. Success is a marathon, not a sprint to the nearest jewelry store. If you want to build a legacy that lasts longer than a viral clip, you have to be smarter than the image you portray. Don't let your shimmer hide your struggle. You've seen the rise and you've seen the price of the fall. If this story changed the way you look at success, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another deep dive. Share this video with an aspiring artist who needs to hear this truth before they make their first big mistake. The choice is yours. Do you want to look rich for a moment or be wealthy for a lifetime? Let us know in the comments below. See you in the next one.